In a world where love is just a swipe away, the reality of online dating can be both thrilling and terrifying. With over 75 million users worldwide on Tinder alone, the quest for romance often leads people down dark paths. What starts as an innocent swipe right can quickly spiral into shocking nightmares. First dates that escalate into horror stories, chilling encounters that make headlines, and lives forever changed. Behind those smiling selfies and clever bios, a sinister reality lurks, revealing that danger is always just a swipe away. As you navigate this digital love landscape, you may want to reconsider who you trust with your heart and your safety. The unsettling truth is that not all Tinder meetups end with a happy ending. Some have ended in unspeakable violence, leaving families shattered and communities in shock. A night of fun can quickly turn into tragedy when a woman falls from a balcony, or when a Tinder match leads to a terrifying discovery of a serial killer. These true stories expose the hidden risks of modern dating, revealing that the quest for love can sometimes lead to death. Join us as we explore the 4 most disturbing Tinder meetups, where the search for connection led to the ultimate betrayal. Murder. The Sydney Tinder Murder, 2017. In 2017, the vibrant city of Sydney became the backdrop for a chilling tale that sent shivers down the spines of many. What was supposed to be a thrilling Tinder date for a young woman ended in a horrific nightmare. It began like any other romantic story. 2 individuals matching on a dating app, exchanging messages, and finally deciding to meet in person. However, for this woman, the evening would spiral into unspeakable terror. The woman, whose name was Sydney Loof, felt a rush of excitement as she prepared for her date. She had connected with a man named James on Tinder, and their conversation had been lively and promising. The two agreed to meet at a local bar where laughter and flirty glances filled the air. But as the night wore on, something felt off. James appeared charming, yet a dark intensity lingered beneath his facade. He seemed overly eager, as if he had something sinister in mind. After a few drinks, James suggested they move to his place for a nightcap. Initially hesitant, Sydney eventually agreed, thinking it would be a harmless extension of their date. Little did she know that this decision would seal her fate. As they arrived at his apartment, an overwhelming sense of dread washed over her. The place was dimly lit, filled with an eerie silence that sent chills down her spine. As soon as they entered, James's demeanor shifted dramatically. The charming man she had met online transformed into a menacing figure, trapping her in his web of deceit. What unfolded next was a horrifying sequence of events that no one could have predicted. In the seclusion of his apartment, James revealed his true intentions. He lunged at Sydney with a ferocity that caught her completely off guard. Panic surged through her as she fought back, desperately trying to escape his grasp. The struggle was violent, and the walls of the apartment echoed with her cries for help. But no one could hear her, and in that moment, the horrifying reality set in. She was alone with a predator. The brutal confrontation escalated quickly. James's rage took over, and Sydney soon found herself fighting for her life. In a heart-wrenching twist, she was overpowered and faced with a fate no one should endure. In that horrifying moment, the spark of life that once filled her with joy flickered away, snuffed out by a man she barely knew. After the murder, James attempted to cover up his heinous act, disposing of Sydney's body in a way that still sends chills down the spine of anyone who hears the story. He dismembered her and concealed her remains, a chilling attempt to erase the crime he had committed. The discovery of Sydney Loof's remains shocked the entire nation, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Families were left to mourn the loss of a bright young woman, and communities grappled with the terrifying truth that someone so dangerous had walked among them. This horrifying tale serves as a stark reminder of the hidden dangers that lurk in the shadows of modern dating, illustrating how a simple desire for connection can sometimes lead to unimaginable violence. The Australia Balcony Death, 2014. Wariana, a vibrant 26-year-old from New Zealand, had recently relocated to Australia, drawn by the promise of new opportunities and adventures. With aspirations of exploring the world and expanding her horizons, she ventured into the dating scene through Tinder, a platform that offered a chance to connect with like-minded individuals. It wasn't long before she matched with Gable Toasty, a man whose profile piqued her interest. Their online exchanges were filled with playful banter and flirtation, leading Wariana to eagerly anticipate their first in-person meeting. Dressed to impress and filled with excitement, she prepared herself for what she hoped would be a memorable evening, oblivious to the impending tragedy that would unfold. The night kicked off with dinner and drinks, where the initial chemistry between Wariana and Gable appeared promising. They laughed and flirted, seemingly enjoying each other's company. However, as the evening progressed, subtle signs began to surface, indicating that Gable was not the charming gentleman he initially presented himself to be. After a night filled with light-hearted conversation and flirtation, the pair returned to Gable's high-rise apartment, where the atmosphere took a dark turn. What should have been a casual conclusion to a pleasant date spiraled into chaos as an argument erupted, revealing the tension that lay just beneath the surface of their interactions. Wariana, once filled with anticipation, now found herself ensnared in a terrifying nightmare, feeling increasingly trapped in a situation she could not control. As tensions escalated, Gable's demeanor shifted dramatically from charming to menacing. He later claimed that Wariana was drunk and unruly, attempting to deflect blame for the unfolding situation. However, Wariana's sense of fear deepened as Gable became increasingly aggressive and unpredictable. In a desperate bid to escape his threatening behavior, she fled to the balcony of the high-rise apartment, seeking refuge. In those frantic moments of panic, everything spiraled out of control. In a tragic turn of fate, she lost her footing and fell from the balcony, plummeting 14 stories to her death. A shocking and heartbreaking incident that would leave a community reeling. The sound of her body hitting the ground reverberated through the night, sending waves of shock and fear through those living nearby. Rather than rushing to help or calling emergency services, Gable Toasty exhibited a chilling lack of empathy as he recorded the aftermath of the incident on his phone. Eyewitnesses reported that he appeared disturbingly nonchalant, even boasting about the event to friends, asking them with a twisted sense of humor, "What do you reckon? She's dead." This callous reaction deepened the horror of the situation, raising questions about his character and the nature of their encounter. When emergency services arrived, it was evident that it was too late. Wariana had already succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The police launched an immediate investigation, quickly realizing that this tragic incident was not merely an accident, but a complex case that highlighted the darker side of modern dating. Gable was arrested, and as the evidence began to unfold, it painted a disturbing picture of the fateful night they had shared. Witness testimonies and surveillance footage presented inconsistencies in Gable's version of events, suggesting a more sinister narrative behind Wariana's untimely death. The case quickly captured national attention, shedding light on the potential dangers women face in the dating world. The subsequent trial revealed Gable's troubling behavior and mindset during the events that led to Wariana's death. Despite the mounting evidence and public outcry for justice, he was ultimately acquitted of any wrongdoing, igniting outrage among those who felt that justice had not been served. Wariena's tragic story serves as a haunting reminder of how swiftly an evening of excitement can devolve into a life-altering experience, leaving families devastated and communities in shock. The tragic incident raises unsettling questions that linger long after the headlines fade. How well do we truly know the individuals we meet online? And what risks are we willing to embrace in the pursuit of love and connection? The Grace Millane Murder, 2018. In December 2018, a young British woman named Grace Millane set out on a solo trip to New Zealand, eager to explore the world and experience new adventures. Grace, who was just 22 years old, was a bright, ambitious woman known for her vibrant spirit and love for life. Her journey, which should have been filled with joy and excitement, would take a horrific turn that would shock the entire nation. During her travels, Grace decided to use Tinder to connect with locals and meet new people. She matched with a man named Jesse Kempson, a decision that would ultimately lead to her tragic fate. The two arranged to meet for drinks in Auckland, and what began as a fun night out quickly devolved into a nightmare. Grace was seen smiling and happy, but no one could predict the terror that lay ahead. After their night out, they returned to Jesse's hotel room, where the atmosphere changed dramatically. What started as flirtation took a dark turn. Witnesses later described Grace as having been excited and carefree earlier in the evening, but as the night progressed, things spiraled out of control. Inside that hotel room, Jesse's behavior turned violent and disturbing, and Grace's laughter was replaced by fear. In a horrific act, Jesse brutally attacked Grace. He later claimed that she died during consensual rough sex, but the evidence painted a different picture. Jesse's story was riddled with lies, and the investigation revealed chilling details. After murdering Grace, he attempted to cover up his crime. He stuffed her body into a suitcase and left it in the bush near a hiking trail, trying to erase all traces of what he had done. The image of a young woman hidden away in a suitcase is one that is hard to forget, haunting those who hear her story. Grace's family, who had been anxiously waiting to hear from her, reported her missing when she didn't return from her trip. The police launched an extensive investigation, quickly uncovering the truth. CCTV footage revealed Grace entering Jesse's hotel room, and the evidence against him began to mount. The gruesome discovery of her body brought shock and outrage, leading to widespread media coverage and a national conversation about the dangers of dating apps. During the trial, the courtroom was filled with tension as details of Grace's final moments were revealed. Jesse Kempson was found guilty of murder, and the case highlighted the terrifying reality that lurked behind what seemed like a harmless night out. Grace's tragic end served as a grim reminder of the potential dangers faced by those who venture into the world of online dating, where trust can quickly turn into betrayal. The impact of Grace Millane's murder rippled through her community and beyond. Her story sparked conversations about safety, consent, and the importance of being cautious when meeting strangers online. As her family mourned the loss of their beloved daughter, they also became advocates for change, urging others to learn from Grace's story. The haunting question remains: how well can we truly know someone we meet through a screen? And at what cost do we seek connection in a world filled with unknown dangers? The Utah Tinder Date Murder, 2020. The tragic case of Ashlyn Black, a young woman murdered on a Tinder date in 2020, serves as a stark reminder of the dangers associated with online dating. Ashlyn, a vibrant 25-year-old from Layton, Utah, had a passion for fashion, vintage shopping, and outdoor activities like camping. She worked as a caregiver, supporting young children with developmental challenges, and was known for her kindness and infectious laugh. Ashlyn dreamed of becoming a mother and often advocated for those who struggled to express themselves. Her family described her as a nurturing soul, eager to help others. On May 23, 2020, Ashlyn was swiping through Tinder, where she matched with Ethan Hunsaker, a 24-year-old father who had recently separated from his wife. Their conversations quickly led to plans for a dinner date that same night. Ashlyn's excitement for the evening reflected her hopeful nature as she prepared for what she thought would be a fun night out. Ethan arrived at her home around 9 p.m., and the pair headed to a local bar, where they spent several hours enjoying drinks and getting to know one another. After a seemingly pleasant evening, they returned to Ethan's house in the early hours of May 24th. However, the night took a horrific turn. Shortly after arriving at his home, Ethan brutally attacked Ashlyn. He later confessed to police that he had choked her until she was nearly unconscious before grabbing a kitchen knife and stabbing her multiple times. The violence was shocking, especially given that there had been no previous altercations or arguments between them. When police arrived at the scene at around 3:20 a.m., they found Ashlyn face down in a bedroom, suffering from numerous stab wounds. Paramedics attempted to revive her, but it was too late. Ashlyn was pronounced dead at the scene. Ethan's account of the events raised many questions. He claimed that he invited Ashlyn over with the intention of killing her, a chilling admission that suggested premeditation. His demeanor during the police interrogation was disturbingly calm, as he explained that he had no particular motive for the murder, stating that he simply acted on impulse. Despite his confession, many were left bewildered by his actions, as Ethan had no known history of violence or criminal behavior prior to this incident. In the days that followed, details about Ethan's life began to emerge. Friends and co-workers described a young man who had changed drastically after his divorce. Once an outgoing individual, he became increasingly withdrawn and exhibited troubling behavior, including making dark comments about women and expressing feelings of isolation and desperation. He had previously worked in a concrete company, but was fired following an altercation with a female co-worker, which raised further concerns about his mental state. One former acquaintance, Autumn, recounted her unsettling experiences with Ethan, revealing that he had relentlessly pursued her with messages for years, despite her clear lack of interest. She noted how his behavior shifted after his marriage ended, stating, "I did get a weird vibe, and I think that's kind of what stopped me from ever hanging out with him." After hearing about Ashlyn's murder, she felt relieved that she had distanced herself from him, recognizing the potential danger he posed. Autumn's testimony underscores the importance of recognizing red flags in relationships, especially those initiated online. As the case garnered national attention, many voices emerged on social media, some blaming Ashlyn for her tragic fate. Advocates for victims' rights, like Liz Solis from the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition, emphasized that the responsibility for violence lies squarely with the perpetrator, not the victim. "It doesn't matter how the victim met the perpetrator," Solis stated, highlighting the need for society to shift its perspective and acknowledge that no one deserves to be harmed, regardless of their circumstances. In June 2021, a year after Ashlyn's murder, Ethan Hunsaker changed his plea to guilty, acknowledging his mental health issues and the role they played in his actions. This plea provided some solace to Ashlyn's family, who had been grappling with the loss of their beloved daughter. Despite the tragic circumstances of her death, Ashlyn's story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of awareness and vigilance in the world of online dating, highlighting the need for individuals to prioritize their safety when meeting new people, especially those encountered through dating apps. As we reflect on these chilling stories, it becomes evident that the world of online dating can hold dark secrets. Each of these disturbing Tinder meetups serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us to be vigilant and prioritize our safety. Always trust your instincts, be aware of red flags, and remember that not everyone is who they claim to be. Dating apps can lead to meaningful connections, but it's crucial to approach them with caution. By sharing these stories, we hope to raise awareness about the potential dangers and encourage open conversations about safety in the digital dating world. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more unsettling tales from the world of online dating. Stay safe out there and remember, trust your instincts.